For the first scene, no colour correction was needed, as the lighting is the same throughout all of the shots, as they were filmed at the same time of day. The continuity was kept by placing these clips together and using the razor tool and placing the clips consecutively after each other. I had used a Gaussian blur and a dip to white to show the end of a dream sequence. There was no need for original sound, as you would be able to hear the cuts and the ambience, which I did not want to hear. For scene 2, I had made the image darker to make it more like a night setting and keep the shots the same brightness. This brightness helped maintain the continuity as the same throughout. I created a narrative by fading in and having the character waking up, indicating the previous shots as a dream sequence. There was no need for extra sound within this, and the original sound was necessary so that we could hear the character's footsteps. For scene 3, I had made all of the shots darker so that they were the same throughout the shots. This helped keep the continuity as it was the same throughout the sequence. I created a narrative by showing a character walking down the street with no context, immediately raising the question of what he is doing. I had deleted the audio paired with the clip so that the wind was not present, and added ambience that I had downloaded from Freesound and put it at the start of the shot. For scene 4, I had zoomed in as the light at the side of the shot was too strong. To help maintain the continuity, I just kept the ambience playing so that there was more seamless transition from scene 3 to scene 4. Narrative was created by the zoom in, as it did not seem immersive and seemed more realistic to the viewer. I did not need to match up any more audio, as the ambience from the previous shots continued here. I had just trimmed the audio to end at the same time as the clip. In 6, I did not need to use any colour correction settings during the editing. I kept the continuity by keeping the shots chronological. A narrative was created by adding a glass sound effect, raising the question as to the nature of where the sound had came from. This glass breaking sound effect was synced up with the character's reaction. I did not need to use any colour correction during the editing of scene 7. I'd kept the continuity in this scene by keeping the actor in the same place during cuts. There is also the audio being played, which makes the transitions more seamless. A narrative is created here as we see the character walking in the same place as we have seen him before, and was edited in the same way. I'd added the same ambience. I played the audio effect at the beginning of the first shot and played it continuously throughout the shots. For scene 8, I did not need to use any colour correction. I had kept the continuity by keeping the actors in the same place by placing the clips in chronological order. I'd created a narrative using a dip to black to represent a blink and add immersion for the viewer. No additional sound was used here. For scene 9, I did not need to use any colour correction settings. I had kept the continuity by placing the shots chronologically, keeping the actors in the same place between cuts. I'd created a narrative by putting the clips chronologically and adding a transition card which had the next day on it. I added a voiceover of Levi, which I had paired with him entering the room in the clip. For scene 10, I did not need to use colour correction. I did not need to keep the continuity either, as it was the only shot in the sequence. I'd created a narrative by using fade in, raising the question as to where the main character is. I did not use any extra audio, however I did use Adobe Audition to edit out the wind from the original audio clip. For scene 11 and 12, I did not need to use any colour correction. I had kept the continuity by keeping the composition similar between the cross dissolve for the two clips. I had used the cross dissolve to show the strangling and the dealer talking. I used the fade to black to show the end of the scene. I had no extra audio to sync with the shots. For scene 13, I did not need to use any colour correction. To keep the continuity, I put the shot in chronological order, keeping the actor in the same place between cuts. I had added a door sound effect to enhance and focus the viewer's attention on the slamming door. I went frame by frame and went with the initial audio but cut that and added the slamming. For scene 14, I did not need to use any colour correction as the shots were the same brightness and looked similar. I'd kept the continuity between the shots by placing them in chronological order. I had added a scream sound effect and a sound effect of something hitting the floor and boosted the sound of it, adding suspense of what might have just happened. I had added the outside ambience and added that throughout the whole scene, with the black screen to put the screen and the sound of the thing hitting the floor.